Alright, problem 3. It wants us to factor this. I see 4 pieces, so that tells me I'm going to factor by grouping. Now, I always have to be careful. This center term says minus here. The easiest way to change that subtraction is just change it to plus and negative. That's always a safe way to make sure you don't make a mistake. So we're going to go ahead and change that subtraction to plus negative 5x minus 10. Now I'm going to group this together and group that together. I'll explain why in a second, why we got to make sure we do that. But let's go ahead and do the problem first. All I'm going to do is I group this first 2 together, group the second 2 together. I'm going to factor out what can be factored out. In this case, an x squared can be factored out. You're left behind with x minus 2. Plus, in this case, a negative 5 can be factored out. And you're left behind with x plus 2. Because the negative 5 times that positive 2 would give you the subtract 10. Now, when I look at this, I'm thinking, well, wait a second, something doesn't look right. Well, it isn't. In this case, notice that and that do not match. That tells me this cannot be factored. Can't be factored. You cannot break this down because these 2 pieces don't match. And if you try to say, oh, well, Cease, can I just leave it a 5 here? Well, if you leave it a 5, that's going to end up being a negative x, and that'll give you the minus 2 there. But that's a negative x and not technically the opposite of x. They don't match up here. If these 2 pieces don't match in here and in here, it can't be done. So problem 3, you just have to write can't be factored. Now I wanted to explain this minus bit here. You had to be careful when we had the problem. The reason I had to change it to plus and negative, because you can't come in and group these and then try this grouping. Because when you do that, you're going to have subtract a negative 10, which really changes that value to a plus 10, and that's not what's in the problem. So you have to be careful. That's why the easiest way is just to change it to plus negative and then group, and then you don't have any problem with having to worry about that distributing the negative sign through. Problem 3, simply this would have worked great had that been a plus 10, but it wasn't, so it's not factorable.